and we're good. Go ahead. Okay.
The
This is-
recording has started. We're
Okay.
back on the record.
Go ahead.
All right, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ed Agus, board member.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Jay Scoria, Department License and Inspections.
Hi, I'm Meredith Furliger. I am the
No,
attorney.
hold on
for the applicant.
first. Okay. Everybody identified themselves except for the appellants. Okay, if they did, anybody testifying in this case, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yeah, and yes, and I see that Alex, the architect, is still connecting to audio, so you may need to re-swear.
Okay.
We have
All right.
him,
Okay.
but I can certainly get started while we're waiting for him.
Okay. All right, Jace, you want to put it into the record?
Sure. It's BBS case number MI-2022-005635 for 928 North Leafgow Street. For the record, can you please state your name?
Meredith Furliger, attorney for the applicant. I'm an attorney with Dilworth Paxson. Earl, do you want to introduce yourself as well?
My name is Earl Shealy. I'm the owner of 928 North Leafgow.
And with us, we also have Alex Duller, who is an architect with Fusa Designs LLC, that is the architect of record on the project.
Okay, who's going to be presenting the case?
I will.
All right, you can start.
Thank you. Okay, so as the board knows, today we are presenting 928 North Leafgow. As you can see in the photograph here, this is a recent photograph of the project. This is a single family home that is being built on the property. Now, Earl purchased the property back in 2019. And Earl purchased this project as, what's commonly known as a shovel-ready project. So at the time that Earl purchased the project, all of the approvals had been obtained from the city. So let me just give you a little bit more context on this property, and then I can walk you through kind of how we've gotten to today. So this is North Leafgow Street. As you can see here, there is a series of 3 new homes that have been built here. The one that we're talking about is the one in green. And again, just showing you kind of the rear condition of these properties. So what is unusual about these properties, at least as it relates to what you would normally find in the city, is that this block does not have any deeded alleys. So when you look at the deeds for all of these properties along Leafgow, there is no right to any deeded alley or anything of that nature along this block. So you can obviously see where most properties have the common alleys that you would find throughout the city. So as far as how we got here today, this was first permitted back in 2018. When the original building permit was submitted in 2019, this is what was submitted. So at the time the plans were submitted, it showed the condition of the rear yard. It clearly did not show any alley, showed an egress well in the rear. Again, this is a single family home. The plans that were submitted to L&I and that were approved showed the location of all the intended bedrooms above grade, showed that the basement was going to be a flex space. It was then amended in 2021 again and approved by L&I. And again, the rear yard, you can see here showing a fence, egress well, no alley. And similar, showing that the basement was going to be used as a den. And this is just another section view from that plan. So Earl is going along, he's building the project as was approved by L&I. He gets all of the framing up, as you can see in this photo up here. And just before he goes to do the sheetrocking, at that time, an inspector came out and said, well, wait a minute, you don't have any egress into a public way. So, Earl was a little bit flummoxed, I guess you could call it, because, he's building in accordance with the plans. He's built this single family home, and he's sort of at this point where he wasn't sure what to do. So of course the inspector advised that we should resubmit to L&I again to generate the refusal that is before the board today. So Alex, who for some reason I'm still not seeing Alex, but hopefully he'll be able to join us. But so Alex did update the plans just to reflect that there is no alley and resubmitted. So there's a couple things, obviously the fact that the property is basically already built. Earl has attempted to talk to his neighbor, the one that has this corner property right here on St. Newman Street. She is not willing to entertain a conversation about any potential easement or alley. That we obviously attempted that before we ever even came to this board, but she is, for one reason or another, not willing to entertain any form of conversation. So what Earl did is he did increase the fire rating of the sheetrock in the rear. He has also agreed to install additional sprinkler heads in the rear of the property. Again, this is a single family home, so this basement is, it's going to be used however the future family wants to use their basement. It wasn't designed to have bedrooms or anything of that nature. It's designed to be a flex space of whatever, you or I or anybody else would want to use their basement for. So, we're certainly hoping that the board understands the limitations that this, situation has faced. Again, Earl has really done everything that he could to try and make this as safe as possible, just given the limitations of this lot.
Meredith, could you just go back to the site plan or ground floor plan that was part of the initial submission?
Is this this one?
Yeah, right, it does. I mean, so everything from the beginning said adjacent rear yard and the property behind. There was never anything that showed an alley in either plan or in section.
No, and that's why, by the time he went to do sheetrocking, he was understandably very confused because he was building based on the plans that were approved. So, yeah.
And was Fusa the architect from the beginning, or did they inherit this from somebody else?
They were their architect from the beginning, since Alex isn't here.
Yeah.
Alex is here now.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, do you want to just swear him in before he talks?
Yeah. Alex, please raise your right hand, because I know you're going to be testifying in the case. To swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So this project was one of the last projects my partner Ed Fink had designed and gotten approved. Sadly, he passed away about 3 years now. And I kind of got to take this project over after it was already under construction, and Earl and his partner had taken it over. So basically I took it over. I submitted the one round of amendments, everything was approved, and it's just kind of gone from there.
Were you anticipating a refusal?
We were not, I wasn't really. I mean, I now, basically in the past few years, L&I has obviously started to address this code, but obviously for years and years, this was kind of an issue that was ignored, and
yeah, and just
countless homes have been granted. I mean, truthfully, on on the northern part of the block, like just to the north side of St. John Newman, we had 7 homes that were built, without a rear alley. And I mean, this was all about 10 to 15 years ago, but there were, 7 homes all built without a rear alley on that block of Lithgow Street.
And we did provide just a sort of general overview map, just to give you a sense of the volume of other somewhat similar, single family homes that were approved, didn't come before this board with similar conditions. So, I don't know if Jace could shed any light on, the enforcement of this particular provision of the code, but I'm sure certainly Alex, realizing now that this provision is being more actively enforced, that will change how they apply it moving forward. But yeah, so that's kind of where this is at.
Just to weigh in, yeah, if it's a landlocked condition and you have bedrooms in the rear of the property, usually that's not permitted by code. So that's why everyone usually converts that rear space into a den area or not a sleeping area. That's what we've been doing in the past. I can't really comment on the jobs that were issued out 15 years ago. Obviously I wasn't here, but overall with this current condition, I think this past application, the examiner may have missed it. And that's the reason why it's in front of the board today.
And the last plan that was submitted to Ellen, I did show it as a den.
I was talking about for the bedroom on the 3rd floor level.
Understood.
Yeah, the den space here, that's fine because it's not a sleeping room. Your issue would be, I think on the 1st floor level, you called it out as a bedroom / office. It was an office, that's okay. But overall, you have to, I think the issue is on the 3rd floor level, if I remember correctly.
Right, which, it's been fairly consistent all the way through, so. And again, just for additional context here, because it was already built, this project was built with a front garage here, so that, the fact that it's there does limit, what they would be able to redesign at this point.
Is
It
the
is-
other,
Yeah.
the other houses are similar to the house that you have, the other 2 houses there?
They are very similar. They're, you can see they're almost identical.
Mhm.
If I can jump in for 1 second, the one difference between our house and the 2 to the left is that we're actually 4 stories. Same height, we have smaller ceilings. They're actually using bedrooms in the basement. Like if you look at when they were for sale, the one, I mean, they clearly show that bedrooms are being put in the basement. We have, 3 bedrooms above grade. They only really have 1 bedroom above grade.
Yeah, in those specific cases, the previous case I told you before, people might reference a den in the basement and a den in the rear of the property, even though it's landlocked. And after the CO is issued, it might be converted. The only way we can kind of
Right.
catch that is if people call 311 and place violations on those properties, because
Right.
inspectors
Yeah.
are not allowed to. Inspectors
No,
are not
I
allowed
understand.
to.
I'm saying a substantial difference between ours is that I actually have 2 extra bedrooms above grade that
Right.
they don't have because they're 3 stories versus 4 stories.
Understood.
This is,
Sorry,
This is
the
a-
requirement for 4 stories is the same as for 3 stories in terms of rear bedrooms. Is that right, Chase?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
It's, yeah.
4 stories does mean that we do have an upgraded sprinkler system in this building, though. We have a 13R instead of a 13D sprinkler system.
I just happened to look up the drawings for 926 North Lithgow, and they do not show a bedroom at the rear. Just FYI.
that's the issue for me, is that, the other people evidently weren't allowed to do it. And then you're want a relief from that. And then I don't know if that, if the other two houses, when they were being built, that they were told that they could not put a bedroom back there. And then all of a sudden now we're giving you a bedroom back there, and not requiring anything else to get out there of getting out in the backyard. That makes it difficult for us.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely sympathetic to what you've gone through in terms of having a misleading sense of this being permitted. Although there should have been an awareness that this does not meet the code. I mean, in doing a code search, it would have clearly been shown. And the dilemma for us is if we were to grant a variance where we can't do that because of the code being misinterpreted or whatever. The code, the refusal is because the code's being correctly interpreted.
So I have a question, if I may. So, and this may be a question for Jace, but as we've been reviewing this, and as Earl had spoken with the inspector, it has been our understanding that this refusal was generated. It was our understanding that this refusal was generated because of basement, because the bedrooms on the third and fourth floor there's no rear egress stairwell, as far as I understand it. And Alex, please jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, but we were more so under the impression that this really was stemming from the basement itself and was not stemming from the third and fourth floor.
No, it's only for the third floor where you have the bedroom in the back. If you're calling the basement out as a den, it's not a sleeping room. Okay, so as long as the basement is not a bedroom, and your first floor level rear is an office, and you consider that third floor level a den of sort and not a sleeping room, then you would comply because you have a bathroom in the other side. You have a bathroom on the fourth floor level. That complies.
Jace, I thought having any finished space in a basement required an egress.
I think it's dwelling, what do you call it? It's a sleeping room.
That wasn't my understanding when I read the code.
The code does say that any basement over 200 square feet
Oh, you know what?
and not used for mechanical or mechanical only is required an egress.
Let me
well.
just double check
Right.
something real quick. Hold on.
And Earl, just so that we're all on the same page here. When you spoke with the on-site inspector, was it your understanding as well that he raised this issue because of the basement?
He had originally raised it because of the basement, correct? That was what he had mentioned to me, and had said, what you're gonna need to go in front of the Board of Building Standards. Most likely you'll have to put in a fire curtain, with additional sheetrock and sprinkler heads. That was what was told to me. So proactively I did both of those things.
Sorry, I think I was quoting an older section because this is under the 2009, right? Not the 2018.
Correct.
I'm pretty sure that was the 2018 revision. That's why I referenced that. Hold on for a second. I'm sorry. 2009 didn't have it. I didn't realize 2009 had it. I apologize for that error. Yeah.
So
because-
2009 would require an egress in the basement?
Yeah,
no?
it would require, it would
Okay.
require egress in the basement. I thought that was the 2018 update, but it was also referenced in 2009. I apologize.
And, you know, again, that was really our understanding of,
Right.
of at least why the inspector had raised the issue. It wasn't anything related to anything above grade. It was predominantly because of the basement, which again is designed to be a den or whatever the future homeowner wants to use it for.
Yeah, I mean, I think also the main issue is also the bedroom in the rear on the third floor level.
Yeah.
So,
I
hey,
mean,
so you saying that the basement needs,
Would
because
require-
then it doesn't have to have, the
Because-
egress?
Because it's over 200 square feet, it would require emergency escape and rescue.
So right now you're talking the basement and the third floor?
Right. And as long as the first floor rear is just an office, it should be okay, but overall your third floor and your basement wouldn't comply.
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand. And we would really just ask the board to, you know, take into consideration that the fact that, you know, Elle and I did approve this twice and, you know, the structure is now built. So it's really, it's going to be quite an extreme issue at this point for him to be relocating or figuring out what to do with this, you know, rear third floor bedroom that was approved by Elle and I twice. You know, I mean, the basement is a different
Oh.
issue, but
What's the ceiling height? Is it less than 80 inches?
In the
Alex?
basement,
Yeah,
7'4", I think, which is 88 inches.
yeah, I think the 7'4" is the bottom of the footing. So we actually lose 16 inches from there. So I think that plan actually calls it out as like 6'9" or something like that.
Oh, it's hard to read that.
I'm right now trying to look at the currently approved plans. I'm looking.
yeah.
those up.
Usually basements are less than 80 inches. And if it's less than 80 inches, then it's not required to have emergency escape and rescue. I think that might have been the reason.
The section shows 7'1.5" from top of slab to underside of beams.
I was just trying to bring up the actual full set of plans versus my little snippets.
I mean, I do know from the past, basically, this is an issue that whenever it occurs now with any client, basically for about 18 months or somewhere 18 months to a year ago, I was in front of the board with a property that was like 12.5 feet wide. And we weren't able to provide an egress alley for the, basically because if we took out that 3 foot and then took out 6 inches for walls and all of that, the whole first floor became unusable. And the board in that case, basically what we've done here, you guys did ask us to upgrade the sprinkler system to a 13R. And you did ask us to provide sprinkler heads above all the windows and upgrade the rear wall to be a 2-hour.
All right, Myron.
And that one was 1309 Randolph, and that was actually a 2-family dwelling that we were granted a variance. And that was roughly a year ago.
Sorry,
But
Meredith.
basically now whenever a client comes with the property that doesn't have a deeded alley, I tell them don't buy it. Like just walk away, because this is not a process that I want to go through at all. But this, as you can see from the history of this project dates back 5 years going through the zoning board process and was designed by my former partner, and it was a completely different animal.
Sorry, Meredith, I think you were looking for a section that showed the basement height.
Oh,
We're on the first floor here, so this is,
yeah, for some reason this PDF is giving me some trouble. Let me see if I can get it.
Alex, is there an opportunity on the first floor to relocate the full bath and create like a corridor to get you from the backyard out the front, and a rated corridor could be created?
Right now there's the garage. So basically it's a garage and a hallway at the front of the building.
Right,
okay.
they just extend that hallway straight into the backyard, make it a rated enclosure, and you'd have a way to get in.
Yeah, that looks like
7 feet.
85 and a half inches.
Yeah.
In that flex room.
And Jason, can you go to the first floor plan?
I'm not the one that's sharing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, if you give me a minute. I keep begging my law firm to upgrade my PDF capabilities so that they work better. First floor plan you wanted?
Yes, zoom in on that. I'm just wondering if there's some way a rated corridor could be made if the bathroom was relocated from front to back.
No, but that will coincide with the entrance of the unit, I think.
Right.
And that den actually has its own door, so it kind of would almost be the same thing. I mean, you could easily just go through the door.
I mean,
Except it's for the firemen to be able to get back there.
yeah,
I'm
I mean,
wondering, could the entrance to the unit be where the stairs are? If the bathroom got moved?
well, Amy, are you basically saying that you would still re-enter the building?
Yeah, oh yeah, we'd still have to give a variance for that, but at least the firemen would have a way to get to the back. And there would be an egress path.
Well, can that window in the back simply be a door?
There is no window. There is no window where that bathroom is. That's a wall. Next to that is an actual door that's a full light glass door. So I mean, they could
Okay,
easily just go straight through there if they were trying to get to the backyard.
right, that's what I was asking about.
So
That's-
this is a door, Earl, correct?
Hold on. I don't know if I'm seeing that, but hold on. Let me see if I can.
Yeah.
Yes,
reading
that's a
it.
door.
Okay, it doesn't have a door swing, so it's.
Yes, and it's a full light door, not a metal door or anything like that. So if somebody wanted, they could easily break the glass for that as well.
So, wait. Amy, they don't have to move the bathroom, where would they move it to?
Yeah, I'm trying to make a hallway that a policeman or a fireman could come through, not that they have to enter into a house and go through the house and go into the backyard and make an alleyway through there.
Yeah,
Have
but
the front door be at the stairs. You know what
Amy,
I mean?
I don't think you can do that and have the garage, an entry hall and a corridor. I mean, that's,
Your entry would be in that corridor wall into the stairwell. Not ideal, but
The garage door, basically you wouldn't be allowed to have that garage door directly into that corridor because you're not allowed to have any
you'd have to move the
unoccupied
garage door into the stairwell.
into the stairwell.
Continue that wall line, and that's where your door is into the unit. I'm just trying to, that's a
Yeah.
thought of how to make it work.
at this point, there's a bathroom that's already presumably, in place in that location.
Yeah, I mean, again,
Um,
this didn't come up until the pre-drywall. So everything that you see here is basically there.
Yeah, but Chase, just to be clear, I'm a little bit confused with the 2009, 2018 situation. this still should have been refused and submitted
Yes,
for both the ground floor, the basement, and for the third floor.
yes.
Okay,
And it should have been technically for, I don't know if it, because it says the word bedroom in the rear, if he left it as office, I think he could be okay. But definitely the basement and third floor level would be the issue because they called it out as built. They call it out as a bedroom. Like, you know, so overall, like a habitable space is a space in a building for living, sleeping, eating, and cooking. So bathrooms, toilet rooms, closets, halls, storage, or utility spaces or similar areas are not considered habitable spaces. So
Yeah.
it's, I think it's,
well, I mean, our feeling is they should have been refused initially. It would have been appealed at that point, long before it was built, and it would have been resolved at that point. The
right,
fact that it was missed and has now been, you know, brought up after the fact, it puts us as a board in an awkward position to basically say, it's okay if LNI grants a permit that they shouldn't have. I mean, in every case, every project has different nuances. I'm not sure if we're the ones who should be giving redress or, you know, essentially allowing this as a variance. I think this needs to be appealed. I am not a lawyer elsewhere on the grounds that a permit was granted that is being revoked and that it's a process issue. It's not a building construction permitting code issue.
And with all due respect, we certainly understand that, but given where this project is at with construction, if we were to take that suggestion and put it into play, the LNI review board, I have cases pending before the LNI review board that I filed in 2019 that they've never scheduled hearings on. And so, you know, this property owner who purchased this property and in good faith has, you know, ventured to build it in accordance with plans that were approved by LNI twice. You know, this, you know, we're asking for a little bit of leeway from this board because by all means, you know, I certainly respect the position that this puts you in, but for us to appeal this to the LNI review board is going to leave this structure in under construction like this for, I mean, I wish I could put a timeline on that, but it could be 2.5 years. And you know, that's really imposing a very extreme hardship on this property owner. And again, we certainly respect that this puts you in an awkward position, but you know, we certainly submit that everything that's being proposed here is not reducing the safety of this structure for the future occupants of this home, is either consistent with, or in some cases is likely even safer than some of the other homes around here.
But we don't know enough about those other homes to, you know, really evaluate that. You know,
understood completely. But you know, just given the circumstances here, we are asking for a variance from this board, and we're hoping that the board understands, you know, the hardship that really this property owner would face if this were to be denied.
Wayne and Amy, well, I think on the one hand, we could basically break out and discuss this. I think
Yeah.
my reaction is that just going to throw this on the table, that we table this, continue it until our next session, and that we have an internal conversation with LNI about how to handle situations like this in the meantime. How do you guys feel about that?
I'd say we caucus right now.
Yeah, let's caucus.
Okay,
I do want to reiterate, I did look up that other project. It was a duplex building, and you guys granted a variance for the same piece of code with an upgraded sprinkler system, a 2-hour assembly, and fire curtain wall on a duplex building in July 22nd of last year.
What was that? What was the address of that place?
1309 Randolph.
Again, there could have been other mitigating.
Could have had to do with the rear yard size. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a bunch of variables that could
Yeah.
have brought us to that decision.
I understand. It was, I mean, a similar landlocked project. That our hardship in that case was the skinniness of the lot. Like, that was ultimately the discussion.
I guess we'll wait in the waiting room.
Yes, Debbie will put you in there. Close the recording.
Thank you.
Yes, we're off the record.
The recording started again. We're back on the record.
Okay, unfortunately, we looked at, there's nothing we can do, and also, you don't go to the L&I review board, it goes to the Court of Common Pleas for this case, when we, if we deny it, well, we are denying it. The thing is, on Randolph Street, the rear yard in Randolph Street was 15 feet 4 inches. Okay, at the time, the 15 feet was what the criteria was in the backyard. To get back there to refuge. And that's how we ruled on that. Then there was a discussion with the fire department and they wanted 50 feet. And that, right shortly after that, that changed to 50 feet. And we've been holding 50 feet from there and up until now. So that's where we're at right at the moment. And the thing is that we have to deny the variance because this doesn't meet any of the criteria. I know it's a difficult thing because you got the wrong information from L&I or because you submitted your plans twice and they were approved. But the thing is that being an engineer, an architect, whatever, that has to be done. There's an issue with that. And that's why we can't give the variance. We have to deny it. And you have the ability to file at the Court of Common Pleas and plead your case because of the things that you think is wrong with that. So
May I ask
we're sorry.
just a quick question?
just
Sure.
want to add, sorry, first, you mentioned that you would approach the neighbor who has the house on the
Corner.
side, on the
Mhm.
corner. You can approach other neighbors if you can arrange for access to another yard to get a reasonable distance away from, in the event of a fire, that's something that we can consider, but so just put that on your.
I mean, to my left and to my rear are both landlocked yards as well. So, and I mean, I have a block wall. I guess I could take the block wall down and try to figure out some sort of a way to give egress. But I mean, I'm literally just going from one landlocked yard to another landlocked yard.
Yeah, but what's the distance when you go from your landlocked into their landlocked? Do they have a distance to their
The
home?
house behind me has about a 3-foot deep backyard. And the house to the left of me would be just the width of the house. It's the same depth as mine.
Okay, what's the width of the house? 15, 20 feet?
No, it's like, is Alex on the call? I think it's 14.
I think it would be the same as yours, which is about 15 feet. Well, yours is 16, so we could look it up on Atlas.
What do you have in back of your house?
I have a house with a backyard that's 3 feet deep.
Okay. And your neighbor has their backyard is the width of their house?
Correct.
Can you make an agreement with them?
I mean, I could certainly ask. I wasn't originally approaching them with that because of the fact that I figured their yard was landlocked as well. So when I originally talked, I spoke to my neighbor to my right, who is just not a very reasonable woman, is probably the term for her. And we'll leave it at that.
Leave it at that, okay?
So, okay, but you're suggesting if Earl was to approach 926 Lithgow,
Right.
that if he's able to get some form of an agreement with them, that would that would make this board feel more comfortable in granting a variance, or that would result in a code compliant condition where a variance is no longer necessary. I just want to make sure I understand exactly.
That would give us some comfort of a variance. Am I right, Aim and Ted?
Yeah, the only,
Yes.
we typically have a representative from the fire department here who is not here yet today. And we would want their input on that. However, I mean, at the end of the day, our concern is that somebody trapped who has to exit that way has a reasonable chance of survival. I mean, you know, that's the goal here. And that's
But we
why
would have to give you a variance on that, yes.
So may I suggest the following? Can we continue this
Yes,
to
we
give Earl a chance to see if he can make that happen with them? The other
Yes.
question that I was going to ask was thinking worst case scenario, if Earl has the two worst neighbors in history and neither one of them is willing to give him this. If Earl is able to find some way to move that third floor bedroom, would the board feel more comfortable with just granting the basement issue since that's not meant to be living space? I just want to make sure we're fully analyzing all of our different options here.
I would have to consult with the rest of the board members on that.
Also on that basement, I can go through and measure my height. I mean, I don't know if it's built identical to plan, being that, you know, when the foundation was poured, I never really measured it. It just kind of is what it is. I didn't measure it off on the plans to say, hey, we're exactly what we're supposed to be. But you said it was like 80 inches, correct? Just so I
Right.
can go back and check that.
Yep, I could give you the exact code section for the 2009. Hold on for a sec, please.
And I mean, technically, Jace, could you drop a ceiling to 79 inches?
I could certainly drop a ceiling to 79 inches. Yeah.
So yeah, so emergency basins with the ceiling height of less than 80 inches shall not be required to have emergency escape and rescue windows. It's exception 4 under section 1029.1 in the 2009 IBC.
Okay. So 79 inches would cover that. Now, is that for the whole room or for part of the room? Because I know my ceiling slopes a little bit because of the garage.
So it will be for that specific, so it'll be the average height of that basement space.
Okay.
All right, so you would have to, you know, take a measurement, take the average
Composite,
height.
yeah. Yes. Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
The neighboring lot is 18 feet wide.
The 18 feet wide and 3, you got 21 feet.
Okay, well, we have our marching orders. We really appreciate the discussion. Earl is going to approach them and hopefully we can get 926 to give us an emergency egress access to their rear yard. And I will let Deb know when we are ready to come back.
Okay, if you get these, asking the rest of the board, if they get these, these conditions from the person next door and make it 79 inches in the basement, would we be willing to give the variances? If we would be doing that, then the board has to answer that. We can go into a caucus if you want.
No, I'd say we would, my reaction is that we would, you know, feel a lot better about it. We would want to have feedback from the fire department.
Okay.
And
Understood.
I see that John has arrived, but it's kind of a little bit,
Yeah.
John, you haven't had the benefit of this whole conversation.
Okay, well, we'll continue it. Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Earl,
Can I ask
Earl,
one
did
last
you-
question?
Mhm.
My backyard actually has a block wall. Is a ladder considered a means of egress, or are you looking for a doorway?
We would want a gate.
A gate.
A gate, okay. How wide would the gate need to be?
Probably 3 feet.
3 feet.
3
A
feet,
la-
okay.
a ladder wouldn't suffice for emergency escape and rescue.
Right.
The whole idea is that you have a rear yard, landlocked rear yard. You have to get access to a public right away from that. That's the reason why we're asking That's why we're asking for allowance.
Fair
to
enough.
get
I
on
just wanted
Victor's
clarification. So when I sit down with them, if I can sit down with them, that's what I can ask for.
Yeah, Alex can, can research and advise you on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and
Okay.
we will see you again.
Okay, we'll continue it. Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Meredith.
Bye, Deb.
Bye-bye. And we're off the record. The recording has started.
Okay, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted August, board member.
John Dimes, fire code.
Jace, go ahead, Debbie, sorry.
Sorry, Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Jace Correa, Department of License and Inspections.
Okay, anybody gonna testify in the case? Please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
We do.
Respond.
I do.
Okay, all right, Jace, put it in the record, pal.
Okay. This is BBS case number MI-2022-005663 for 1014 West Dyer Street. For the record, can you please state your name?
George Acevedo, project manager, Mayday Construction and Management LLC.
How about the other guy with you?
Dan Kirchner, KIRCHGESSNER, and it's Mayday Construction.
He is the owner.
He's the owner, okay. Carmen,
Pardon me?
Carmen, state your name for the record, please.
Okay, Carmen Jimenez, and I'm the daycare owner.
okay, whoever's gonna present the case, go ahead.
I'll start out. My name is
All right,
George
George.
Acevedo. Yes,
Okay,
I've been handling this project for a little while now. It took us a while to get our zoning permit. There was a little initial confusion last year as far as whether it's a 1-story or a 2-story. It took us a while to get our zoning, but we did have our zoning approved. I submitted those documents to that effect. The issue with this building is a little kind of simple, but it's sometimes a little hard to understand. This is a 1-story warehouse type building. It's almost 30 feet tall. Okay, it was originally built in 1972 as an elevator repair company. So when you walk into this building, you have a big overhead garage door, and you walk inside. It's all a concrete, 12-inch concrete block walls exterior, and a steel open web joist roof, concrete floor inside. As you walk in, you look up, the ceiling is 30 feet high, okay? Except that on the right side, which would be the east side of the building, there was a partial mezzanine building. This is original construction, and it had it's enclosed in 8-inch concrete block with a framed mezzanine on the second floor. That part, the mezzanine and that frame in that concrete block area, only occupies about 1/3 of the footprint of the building, of the interior. So Mrs. Carmen purchased this building back in 2012 and submitted a plan to start a daycare in that, underneath that the mezzanine level, which is enclosed in concrete, has a separate entranceway on the sides and in the front. Obviously, you've seen the plans. I assume you see the plans. I can share my screen on some of these things.
George, do you want me to share?
Sure.
Okay.
Jice, do you have the plans there?
Yep, Chase, yep.
Okay,
Oh,
Chase, I'm sorry.
no worries.
Yeah, because we're having a little communication issue, so I don't know if I can now Zoom.
all right. We gotta take it care of.
Hey, we were sitting there for 40 minutes wondering what was going on.
Wow.
Yes, go to A 1.1.
Do you see the plans or no?
Yes, I do see the plans.
Okay.
I see the last page. I'd like to go to A 1.1, 1.2 rather. Okay, this is all the code information. There's a photograph. This is the, hold right there. This is the existing condition at the ground floor level. Okay, as you can see on the bottom part, that's the daycare center that was approved by LNI and has a certificate of occupancy back in 2012. Okay, their qualification is up to 45 children at that time. It has been in existence, running, operating, licensed, inspected, and everything since 2012. The rest of the building above and on the side is totally vacant. Okay, that's where they used to do all the elevator work, and it has a very high ceiling up there. If you can go to the next drawing, A 1.2, that is the mezzanine level. Okay, half of it is offices. You'll see 1, 2, 3, 4 offices, 2 bathrooms, and a stairway leading up there. That's all original to the building since 1972. And then where it says vacant and no occupancy, that's the roof of the daycare below it at the ground floor level. Okay, next page, please. And here it is. This is what we're trying to do. This is back on the first floor level. As you can see, the daycare has not changed. What we are trying to do is to create an entire second floor inside the building without raising the height of the building. So where the mezzanine starts, we want to extend a platform to cover the rest of the vacant space so that we can create a ceiling. So that phase 2, this is phase 1, well, this is phase 1 of a 3-phase project. Phase 1 is if we can, you see those 5 squares, those are footings and columns. We want to create a platform that is at the same level as the upper mezzanine. And if you can go to the second to last page, you'll see what I'm saying, which will be 1.6, I believe, or 1.7. See the hatched area there? That's where we want to create this platform to be at the same height level, elevation of the mezzanine. Now go to the next page. 1.5, I believe. Here's what we're doing. This is an interior elevation longitudinal section. As you can see where that man is walking, that's the ground floor level, okay? See that cinder block pattern? The other side of that is the existing daycare. And above it, you'll see 2 windows and a framed area. That is the mezzanine, but that mezzanine, as you can zoom in, you can see it's only 43 feet long from front to rear, okay? What we want to do is build a platform. You can see the I-joists, so that then we can create a full ceiling floor assembly above the vacant area of the building in phase 1, and just do the steel columns, as you can see on the bottom one there, the steel columns and girders all the way across from front to rear. By the way, the front is on the left side, the rear is on the right side of your screens, so that we can expand this daycare center into the rest of this building. This building, she's occupying for 10 years in that space on the other side of that cinder block wall. Now, here is the dilemma. We do not have any money, okay? We got no money. The state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, is granting Miss Carmen this money to do this construction, okay? Miss Carmen Jimenez, her daycare center has got a Keystone 4-star rating, which is the highest that the state of Pennsylvania does. This is a wonderful place. This is a tremendous place. And they've been so impressed for the past 12 years that they're willing to fund the entire construction. However, we had applied for this money about a year, almost 2 years ago, and then the pandemic came and threw everybody to a loop, okay? Records couldn't meet with people, anything like that. They made a commitment to her to fund this, but they cannot fund it all in one shot. They wanted us to break the project into 3 phases. This is the first phase. The first phase is to get this platform up so that we can create a ceiling above this the vacant part of this building. Okay. So there, and then we're going to stop. We're not going to occupy anything in this vacant space. What we intend to do in phase 2 is submit a full set of plans for building new classrooms underneath this platform. We're going to do a complete expansion of the daycares, but we want to leave the existing daycare untouched and operating. They're going to still be over there. We're going to build all new classrooms, all new bathrooms, an enlarged kitchen area, you name it, the whole thing, in this vacant side. So that once we're finished with phase 2, we're going to take, in phase 3, we're going to take the kids out of where they're at and move them into the empty side. And then we're going to work into the existing daycare to finish the rest of the floors, so that cinder block wall is going to disappear. Okay, the mezzanine is going to disappear. All we're going to have is a 1-story a ground floor daycare with a platform above, and we're going to sprinkler the entire building. Okay, one of the refusals that we got from L&I was the fact that we required a sprinkler. I understand that, but in this phase, we are not going to increase anything of what's there right now. Once we build this platform, it's still going to be the daycare on the other side, and that's it. So we want to get a variance from you to allow us to wait until phase 2, when the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania would award us the second amount of money to do the classrooms, the new classrooms. And then in phase 3, this is going to be a 3-year project. Okay. And in phase 3, we're going to do the other side. And then, but right from the beginning, once we do this, the phase 2 information on this side, we're going to sprinkler the building. We're not trying to negate from that or hide from that. We just want to just get the structural columns, steel and concrete, to be able to put the platform and then move on, because the state only gave us $300,000 in phase 1. And this is the fact of the matter is, once you grant us—
Is that matching money? You have to match that?
Ms. Carmen is the one that can answer that question. Ms. Jimenez, can you, it's a grant, was my understanding.
Yes. Hi. Yes, it's a grant from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
That's what
It ain't matching funds.
Like
You have
George
to
said,
match what they
you
give
know,
you.
they're gonna go, yes.
No,
So you have to put $300,000 up, and they put $300,000 up?
No.
No, there's no match. That's what I thought. I thought it might have been an R cap at matching funds. I wasn't sure.
This is a straight grant because
Right.
this is the only Keystone 4-star rated daycare within a 5-block radius. This is a very distressed neighborhood, and the need is incredible. And by the way that Ms. Jimenez has been running her operation, they're just so impressed and says, well, listen, what are you doing with the rest of the building? And she says, I got no money to do anything. And I guess that's how it happened. But the key thing is we want to sprinkler the building. We have plans from the original architect for the entire project, which when we submitted in the beginning, they thought that we're going to do the whole project, and says, no, we're just going to do phasing in. So we withdrew those plans. But I have a copy of them that I sent to Ms. Richardson. I don't know if you have it with you. Hello?
Yep.
Have you seen those?
No, I only went over the plans that were submitted to us for the refusal, so.
let me, it says you cannot share your screen while the other participants are
I
sharing.
can stop the share. Go ahead, I
Yes.
stopped it. Go ahead.
All right, let me see if I can send you this.
No, you can share your screen and show your.
Okay. Give me a second here. This is, okay, I don't know how to rotate this. This is a sequence of events here. But
Well,
let
while
me,
you're trying to do that, we can talk.
Okay.
Carmen, you've already filed for an affidavit of restricted use for the whole second floor addition, correct?
I'm sorry.
I saw an affidavit of restricted use for the whole second floor, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that would be sealed off. They would not be able to use that at all until the next renovation came.
Correct.
Okay. And then when's the next renovation, or when's that start? When's the next phase start?
Well,
Well-
we don't know.
Carmen, let me answer that. We are, as soon as we can get our permit, we're gonna start construction. Dan, how long do you think it'll, phase
Depending
one?
on how quick we'll get the permit, it will probably start within the next 90 days.
And then once we finish that construction, we're gonna seal it off, and the building is basically gonna be the same as it is right now. Just the daycare operating on that side. Let me show you what this mezzanine looks like.
So George, was the drawing submitted through Eclipse or were they sent to Deborah Richardson?
The drawings were, this is where Deborah Richardson got involved. We submitted our application for Eclipse, and something happened to the Eclipse. The whole thing where all our drawings were suddenly disappeared. Okay, and I have documentation on that because I have many calls to Ms. Richardson, and she sort of understood. So but then when we were ready to make our payment on Eclipse, for some reason, our drawings just disappeared, but then it asked us to make the payment. So we were going to accelerate it, but then the button got stuck on acceleration and nothing went through. So we had to log out. We would log back in at least 5 or 6 times. Every time we log back in, it says, pay us $1,900. It combined the regular $200 fee with the $1,700 fee, and it just a mess. And so we couldn't get back in.
Let me interrupt
Okay.
you.
May I?
Do you have the plans?
I'm gonna show them to
They
you
should
right
be
now.
able to get the plans. They're in there. They're under the first request appeal in the document tab. All your documents were still in there.
Let me ask you,
You sent me an email with everything.
Okay.
what is the purpose of us looking at these drawings? Well, why are
Okay.
you intending to show us this? What do you intend to accomplish?
We want to get a variance to allow us not to sprinkle the building, but then to put this platform, as you can see, from the mezzanine level all the way across, and just do the structure. And then leave it there until we can get the rest of the money to build the classrooms in this vacant space.
No.
You
But what is-
won't put any kids up on the second floor?
No kids
They'll
ever
all stay
go.
down on the first floor where they're normally
Absolutely.
gonna be?
Absolutely. And that's been like that for the past 10 years. The kids do not go upstairs. There was some old offices upstairs from the old businesses that were there. This building was
Okay, on the
vacant.
one side where the mezzanine is. Okay, I got you. I got
Exactly.
you. Okay, so you're asking for relief with the sprinkler system until you get more money to do the sprinkler system.
Well, until we get phase 2, we'll submit a full set of plans again, and with all the details of the other side, okay, with the classrooms and what have you. And then we'll get a temporary CO for that side on phase 2. And then we'll have to go to phase 3, because once we move the kids out of the existing daycare into the new space, we're gonna gut the existing daycare and put the rest of the classrooms in there so that the whole first floor will be one large daycare.
Okay, when will the sprinkler system be in phase 2 or phase 3?
Phase 2.
Okay, and
Next
that
phase.
would probably start when?
Next year, because the state funding is on a yearly basis, and that's where we're stuck with their schedule. Is my understanding correct, Carmen? Once we get our funding and complete the phase 1, then we have to submit a report to them that the
Correct.
city has approved us and that the project wasn't properly inspected and, you know, and what have you, and then they'll release the second
Okay,
amount of
Jace,
money.
Correct.
Yes.
Jace, if they put the structure up, to separate the floor, to cut the floor, the building in half, so the daycare center's down here, would that require sprinklers?
No, as long as they're
Okay.
considered an educational occupancy.
Okay, so the thing is that then the next phase, what was that? What were we gonna do in the next phase? Pour the concrete for to extend the mezzanine out and move the kids over to the other side or the first floor?
Well, the platform and the columns will be in phase 1. And
Okay.
basically the platform serves as the ceiling for the empty space so that then we can start working underneath it and put the new classrooms, new bathrooms, stuff like that, and prepare that to move the kids into that
Okay.
area.
Okay, so the thing is, Jace, when would the sprinklers be required?
When they start occupying the second floor level.
When they start
Phase 2,
occupying the
it would
second
be
floor
phase
level?
2.
It'll be
Which
phase
we
two.
are not, which we are not going to occupy. We're going to build a 1-story, 1-level daycare center for the foreseeable future. So it's really not much difference than what we have now. It's just that it's going to be more kids and a larger floor area. And that's
On
where
the first floor?
on the fourth floor,
floor.
concrete floor. Correct.
Okay, so once you put kids on the second floor is when they have to have that building sprinkler. Right, Jace?
Right.
Okay, so just to make sure, before you put any kids on the second floor, that has to be finished sprinkler.
Absolutely. We intend to sprinkle the entire building
Building.
we're going to sprinkle the entire first floor, the entire building when we get to phase 3, which is another additional application for grant money and a whole new system. But let me just point out one thing. When we do phase 2, we're going to have classrooms all around the perimeter now. So we'll have direct access from each classroom out to the street and to the side public area.
Right.
Yes.
Just as long as they stay on the first floor, nobody's on the second floor until it's sprinkler.
Right.
Jace?
Clarification, Jace.
Yeah.
Is the enlarged size of the first floor, when they expand out, does that trigger the need for sprinklers because it's a larger footprint, or is it still under? the
It's
threshold?
It's
I'm
less than
asking-
52,100 square feet.
Yes, less than, there's a square footage requirement when it comes to educational occupancies. So I'm just gonna double check to make sure that
Okay.
they don't meet that real quick. Give me a sec.
I believe we're under 5,200 square feet footprint building. And it says here, fire area exceeds 12.
As long as you don't have an occupant load of 300 or more. And then it's the bottom. $12,000 square feet.
12,000? And he
Yes,
has 5,200?
correct. That's the
Okay.
maximum footprint of the building.
Right.
Okay,
So, when you go to, the first floor level, when they do the second floor level, the reason why they require sprinkler coverage is because they're gonna have the Group B fire area located other on the floor level other than the level of exit discharge, and that means the first floor level. That's the reason why it needs to be sprinklered.
And will there be any construction going on while the kids are there in this first phase?
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of your question.
Will there be construction taking place while daycare is in session during phase one.
Yes, but but as you can see, the daycare is completely enclosed in cinder block
Okay.
walls. So we're not going to be working inside the daycare itself. We're going
No,
to be working.
I understand. Is it entirely sealed off? There's no
So right
It's-
here
it's
is some of the-
opening?
It is simply a totally different fire area. The daycare and the vacant space, you can consider that.
All right,
And rated at 2 hours.
got it.
So it's not just the sprinkler coverage that's the issue for refusals. The other issue I'll bring up while I have the plans. So right here, there's an existing condition. They have an electrical closet and an existing closet in here. That's not permitted in an exit enclosure. It should only be used as a means of egress. I understand that's an existing condition. There's nothing they can do about that. And then the other thing is, since they're already doing the construction here, the second exit on the second floor level has to lead to an area where they have direct access to the exterior. So right now they have this leaded open into the storage area right here. So that's a little difficult. I don't know if there's gonna be anything in this vicinity. So that's the other refusal item.
Yeah,
But for phase one, if a just structure is built and it's sealed off completely,
there was an echo there. Can you repeat that, please?
for phase one, it's just build the platform and it's sealed completely. Because with the,
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. However, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, so I think the rest of that would come in phase two, or
Yes.
maybe even phase three. Let's just be clear, phase one is just build structure and seal it. Phase two is expand on the first floor. And phase three is sprinkler system and expand on the second floor.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right
I think
now,
we're ready.
if
Okay.
they're
Are we
gonna,
good with that?
if they're gonna seal the first floor level just as is, right now the existing issue will be just an electrical closet, because this is considered an exit passageway and they're not allowed to have electrical closet and exit passageway. The reason for that is if there was to be a fire, most likely a fire will come from this electrical closet and that would trap them in there. So that's the issue. But it looks like there's an exit here, but I just wanted to let you know.
And where does that go to? That
Where does that go?
I think this is a corner. Is this a corner property?
No, it's a vacant lot next door that we have an easement through that side door to lead directly a walkway down to the sidewalk. It's actually part of the deed of the property.
Can
Okay,
you
that's
point to
not-
where that door is? I can't see that.
Right here.
Right here, right?
Okay, I
Yes.
see it. Yeah, I got it. I got
Okay.
it.
And we have it, the primary entranceway is here. And then this other door that's in the corner that Jai is referring to about the staircase. But let me address the electrical closet. This existing condition was approved in our first permit in 2012. The closet has always been there. The inspectors saw it, they approved it. That's original to Ms. Jimenez's original permit for the daycare. That has not changed. The entranceway, the electrical closet has always been there. And it was shown on the original plans from 2012, for which we obtained a certificate of occupancy. And let me just, I can show you the CO. And I can show you the original plan from,
are we good to act on this? Or do we need to see anything further?
we are not doing anything in the existing daycare, period.
Okay. Well, Jace was saying that we don't want to go out that door in case that electrical thing's on fire. You have another way to get out of the building right there.
Right.
and
Exactly.
That's what you would have to use.
Yes, we
How do
understand.
how do we cordon that off, Jace? What do we do?
I mean, I can't really tell you how to, the best thing to do is make that exit passageway around that electrical closet, put a 1 hour rated wall in front of it and find another way to access that panel. But what I'm telling you right now, the existing condition is it doesn't comply. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, and I understand that, Jives. However, the plans examiner and the building inspector in 2012, they saw that, they approved that plan. The inspector gave you a CO. It's an existing condition. So, I mean, now, and that's the main entrance to the daycare is what I'm trying to say. The kids, where the kids enter and exit, because that's where the street is. We don't use that vacant space, so that other door that's all on the other side is unused by the children because it's a warehouse type area. I mean, if you would like, we will be happy to take, it's a 2x4 wall there. Current condition with, I believe, 5/8 inch sheetrock. We'd be more than happy to take it all the way up to the concrete ceiling above and add another fire rated 5/8 type X layer on it. So now it becomes almost 2 hour, but it does have a wood door, and the wood doors are closet doors that are bifold doors. So, I mean, I guess, Stan, what do you think?
You could put a 3-foot steel door, a rated door with a weighted frame.
But remember, we have 84 inches of door there. We got 2 sets of double bifold doors. Right.
A fire rated double door with fire frame.
I guess we'll have to change the swing of that door, the door, so don't, you know, as you come from the daycare into that vestibule area. Remember, gentlemen, that whole vestibule and that staircase is enclosed in 8-inch concrete block, so it's all the way up to the roof. So anyway, but yes, I mean, if you want us to rate that closet, electrical closet, we'll do whatever we need to do.
Then we would just have to rate it. It's probably only has one piece of 5/8 on it now. We would just have to double it up to make it 2 hour. And if need be, we'd have to go to the bottom of the deck.
Right. The deck above. Yeah. The up solid wall all the way up to the ceiling, which is actually the underside of the mezzanine.
That be okay?
You're still opening into an exit passageway. It wouldn't be permitted.
Okay.
Again, I implore you guys, this is something that LNI itself approved and has not changed in 10 years, consistently used and operated. And we've had inspectors come here to test the fire alarm system. It has not changed. It was on the original drawings from 2012. You guys approved it.
So Jace, why does that get a refusal now?
Yeah, that's my question.
What I'm saying is I saw it when I did the review. That's why I issued the refusal. I can't tell you why an examiner 10 years ago did that.
Right. And
You gave me the scope of work. I reviewed the drawings in full like you asked me to. And then whatever I see as an issue is one that I will bring up in plan review. That's just the way I do plan examination.
What can be done to I guess make it compliant?
Well, it's a closet, so it needs door openings and to access the panel. So whatever doors obviously will swing out into the exit access. I mean, it is. The space is enclosed in concrete blocks, so we have no room to move anything.
John, do you have any sense from your experience of what would be a reasonable accommodation here?
What, of something that never should have been the case 12 years ago? I mean, no, I don't. I mean, that's not something I get into. I think it's weird situation, right? It's an existing condition that was approved and now they're coming back in. I mean, looking to do something else and Chase picked it up. I don't know what L&I's remedy is for something like that. It's probably, like Jay said, it's still probably a violation. It's just, they got away with it for 10 years.
Well, can I say something? When we
Sure.
go to phase 2, we're gonna gut that whole area. We're probably gonna move that electrical panel someplace else. And the stairways are gonna be eliminated and relocated further over. So if you be patient till next year and allow a 10-year condition to last maybe 11 years, we would appreciate it, because then it'll be completely resolved in phase 2 and phase 3. We promise.
Okay, so
We see where you're coming from, but if something happened in the meantime, that's our dilemma.
And then we have that side exit that we can get out all our kids, because if you look at the first floor plan, all the pod areas for the children are concentrated right there next to that side door. So it's not that we're gonna be stuck in there. The building is completely smoke detectors, fire alarm system, everything. So that's why we have that second exit. I don't know what else to say.
and we could put in a proviso that it would be
Absolutely.
phase 2.
Yeah, put it on paper so that we don't forget either. You know what I mean? It's not that we're hiding away, but it is, L&I approved this. And if L&I would look into their archives to the original plans, they will clearly see it.
I know, but that doesn't matter. You know,
I know.
speak to the past or the past. So right now, do we want to make that a 2-hour wall with steel doors and at least make it better?
We'll
and
do
have
that.
it End up to the underside of structure.
We can caucus before we make that.
What's that, Amy?
Wayne, why don't we caucus?
Yeah, can we Deb, can you put George and Carmen in a room, in the waiting room? So we can
Yes.
talk a little bit?
Okay.
Thank you. Hang in there, George.
Who's sharing?
Thank you.
Did you get? Oh, okay.
George, I think you have to
Never mind.
stop sharing.
Just share. Did you get Carmen? Oh, yes, pause the video. Need to go back on the record. Hold on for a minute.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. We're back on the record now, Miss Carol.
Okay, we're good with the first phase, what you're doing, okay? In the second phase, well, we want you to 2-hour rated around that electrical panel, that wall.
Yes,
And put steel doors on there,
yes.
okay? And then in phase 2, you're removing that electrical closet and the stairs?
No, that would be in phase 3, because the first phase 2 is to do the classrooms underneath the platform. Then we're ready to move the kids over. Then we're gonna gut that whole existing area.
Okay.
Do
All
we
right, so
understand?
we're good with phase 1. Do what we said on phase 2.
On
We
the closet.
want you to take care of that wall, 2-hour rated, and steel doors,
Okay,
okay?
Rated doors.
We want, when you have that platform built, we don't want anybody up on the second floor. We want it barricaded from the steps that they can't go up there. You already have that in that, Matt, is that what it says in the
affidavit.
affidavit? Okay,
Yeah, it says they
Yes.
can't go up there.
right,
cannot
okay,
go-
you got that?
Yeah. There'll just be a
Everybody understands that, right?
Fire department access panel. That's all that would be there.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
And then as soon as you get in the third, before you put anybody, when you get into the third phase, before you put anybody up there, it has to be sprinkler.
Absolutely. That's our
Okay.
full intention.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
so
Everybody good with that?
Yes.
are you
Okay.
gonna present us with some documentation to take the L&I to get that permit?
No.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. Okay? You're good in a few weeks.
thank you.
All right,
Thank you so
Carmen.
much.
All
Thank
right, you're
you.
welcome. Good luck.
All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, what else we got?
All right, stop the
11:50.
recording. We're off the record now, and we'll start the recording.
Okay, Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted August, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Jay Scurrier, Department of License and Inspections.
Okay, anybody testifying in the case, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Please respond.
Go ahead, Andy. Raise your hand and respond.
Yes.
Okay, all right, who, Jace, want to put it in the record?
It's BBS case number MI-2022-005581 for 1157 South 12th Street. For the record, can you please state your name?
My name is
Andy Din.
Go ahead, Andy.
I'm sorry, Andy Din.
My name is Josh Horvitz, JOSHHORVITZ. I'm the attorney for Mr. Din, the property owner.
Whoever's going to present the case, go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Josh Horvitz of the law firm Armstrong Teasdale here in Philadelphia. To jump right in here, if you don't mind, I'll share my screen. And get right into this. Thank you. So my client purchased the property in 2011. Do you see my exhibits here, starting with my authorization letter?
Your
And
screen
then-
is cut up short for me, at least.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's just
here, let me
black.
let me try that again. Glad I asked. Is that better? Now you can see my
Yes.
Yes, we can see it.
my document. Great. So here's the authorization letter from my client. He purchased the property with his wife on February 4th, 2021. It's a triplex. It was approved. Here's a use permit from 2012 in December for a zoning permit for the triplex. So when he bought it, he saw that there was a zoning permit for the triplex. Property certificate said no 3 dwelling units, no violations. And then there was a rental license for 3-unit property. He learned, and here's the zoning permit. And then there were also 3 fire alarm there's a fire alarm panel. Here's 3 electrical panels and a fire alarm panel. Here's the electricals, 3 water heaters. And you can see here in the front of the property, there were 3 electrical meters. He learned it, and then it was set up as 3 separate units inside. And he learned after a violation was issued that in fact, there was no certificate of occupancy ever issued to the prior owner. So very unfortunately, he had to basically go back and start through the zoning process. L&I wouldn't let us go back and we had to, so we went, we had a refusal. We went and we got a variance again for a triplex. And now my client filed for the building permit and learned that there's a fire sprinkler requirement for a new change of use for a triplex. But of course, he didn't know he was changing uses. And when he bought it, he believed it was legally a triplex and there was a rental license and everything on the city's website, no violations. He thought it was. So we got refusal, is why we're here today. This is the refusal to you all. And it's requesting a variance from this fire sprinkler requirement. It would be a really big hardship on my client financially. He's already bought this property and not been able to rent any of the 3 units because he doesn't have all the approvals from the city that he thought he had when he bought it. So since February 2021, the property's just sitting there, vacant in all 3 units. And he's asking today for relief from you all. We did talk to L&I. Here's an email with Curtis Daniel, where he basically explained that they have no record, is the last sentence here, that no record of CO was obtained after the 3-family dwelling was granted in 2012. So that's what happened that caused our issue. And we appealed. Here's our appeal paperwork. And just to show you a little more evidence, here's the separate utility bills, which I can provide for you further if you would like. And I have some photos of the property back here too, but I'm inclined now if there's anything else, Andy, you want to add, and then we can see if there are any questions from the board.
Okay.
No,
Andy,
I
you got
don't.
anything to say?
No, I don't. I think Joshua's pretty much summarized it.
Did I correctly indicate the status of what's going on, Andy?
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
All right, here's what we do. Normally, the next time you buy a house, check into it a little deeper to make sure you're buying the right thing. But we stay consistent on this board. And if you can prove that it was a 3-unit building before, you purchased, and you can buy the electrical meters, the water heaters, everything, that constitutes us to let you know that you don't have to sprinkle it because of that. And you'll get
Thank
the
you very
variance. Okay?
There is an
But
issue
be
with the
careful
rating.
next time, all right, Andy?
There is an issue
Yes,
with the rating of
well.
the exit enclosure.
Well, you know what? Like when I purchased it, they told me that it was, they even tell me that this was a triplex, and I even went and got a rental license. So it's like everything on the paperwork I'm looking at, everything's pointing to that it's a triplex. But
Next time you call me, Andy, right?
There you go. I will. I definitely will.
Amy,
I
are we
appreciate
okay?
it.
Is there something else wrong, maybe?
There was also something about the rating of the enclosure for the stairs, I guess. That
Yeah.
you're saying you don't know what the rating is, but it needs to be.
I'm not 100% sure what that is. So like I said, I have to work with my floor plan, the architect that does the drawing, but I'm not 100%. But that everything was set up for a triplex, and it was being rented before I purchased it. So
Okay, well, I think we're going to require that has the proper rating.
right.
So what is that? The enclosure of what?
Of the exit. So those stairs that are going into each of the units, it has to be within a 1 hour rated exit enclosure.
And it
Right.
might be, but you just have to show that.
How would I know that? Is there any way that this is all new to me, so
I guess you have to talk to whoever drew the plans up to.
Right. So your professional engineer, I think it's Jay Rosen.
Right.
They will be able to go to the site and take a look to confirm whether a 1 hour exit is provided, but that's one of the requirements that they requested.
I
the
got
board is
you.
requesting.
All right.
Good luck.
I appreciate it. Thank
All right,
you.
thank you
No
very
problem,
much.
guys.
Yeah.
All right, take care.
Take care.
Talk to
Thanks.
you. Okay.
Okay, we're all good?
Yeah.
Yep, well, good.
Back on the record, Ms. Carroll?
Okay, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted August, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Ace Korea, Department of License and Inspections.
Okay, anybody going to testify in this hearing? Please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Respond to me.
Yes.
Okay, Jace, put it in the record.
All right, this is BBS case number MI-2022-005580 for 69 to 71 North 2nd Street. For the record, can you please state your name?
Mark Trimbath.
Okay, whoever's going to present the case, go ahead.
Okay, am I allowed to share my screen at all?
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, first, let me start by saying our permit was denied because our second exit stair does not discharge directly to the exterior per IBC 1023.3. Throughout the design, we did use the exception in the IBC 1028.1, which allows up to 50% the number of egress stairs to discharge through a lobby. There are 3 criteria in order for that exception to be used. One is that the floor of exit discharge needs to be fully sprinkled. The second is that the floor below needs fire resistant rated construction. And the third is that the egress door from the stair needs to have direct visual line to the exit discharge door. We do meet provisions 2 and 3, which are we are fully sprinkled and we are fire resistance rated on from the floor below. I'm going to go and share my screen here. And I'm going to show you, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. This is the first floor level of exit discharge. Over on the left side is 2nd Street. On the north side is Arch Street. This building is a historic building, so we're not doing anything to the exterior other than renovating the existing doors and windows. So this door here is going to become our secondary means of egress. This is stair number 1. This stair egress is directly to the outside on 2nd Street. The complication with getting this stair, which is stair number 2, over to the right side of the plan is we have very limited headroom on the basement floor, which I am also using this stair for egress from the basement floor. I've raised the floor as much as possible with a ramp along the back side of the building so that you can access the elevator on an accessible route. But I do need 3 steps in order to get this new floor high enough that I am above 7 feet for the egress route down below. So that's one of the reasons that I can't get this stair further to the right in plan, so that the exit discharge door of this stair would have a direct visual link to the exit discharge of the building. So basically what I'm requesting an appeal to that, let me see what this section is. It's requesting an appeal to IBC 1028.1, exception 1.1, which states such exit is readily visible and identifiable from the point of termination of the enclosure. In order to provide a safe means of egress, this lobby is not connected to any other portion of the building. It's a direct shot from the discharge of that stair, although it does have a 90-degree turn in the hallway to the exit discharge. What I'm proposing is that on the adjacent wall to the stair exit door, that we would have a tactile exit sign with a directional arrow pointing to the right. And then on the far wall, have an illuminated exit sign with a knockout arrow to point any exit egress of components or occupants to the discharge door. And I have some photos here. This is a photo along Arch Street of the existing opening of the door that we would use for this second egress. And this is a photo from the basement floor. This area back here is where we're raising the floor to get enough headroom. This floor is right now 6'8", so I'm trying to get a little bit more clearance. This side is going to be used for storage, but the second means of egress would be through that back area there. So.
Okay, how do we feel about it?
Hey, Mark, sorry. Are both those exits existing, the stair enclosures?
They're not. We're making them new.
Same thing with the elevator lobby? I mean, the elevator enclosure, that's going to be new as well?
Correct.
So that's an existing transition outside that exit enclosure too, when you go down those 3 steps?
No, this is all new floor, because as you can see in the picture, this door I assume was used for furniture delivery, and there's a hole in the floor here currently. The existing level of the floor is up at this point where you can see the threshold of this adjacent door. So I don't think this cutout of the building was ever used as a occupant door. I think it was a delivery door at one point. But we're filling in this new floor with the ramp up to that existing elevator lobby for building accessibility. The building currently does not have an elevator. Or does it have 2 stairs?
Okay.
Amy, any issues?
No. I'm wondering if some sort of a mirror could also be used, one of those mirrors in a hallway that would let you see the exit door, you know, around mirror elevated.
I think that's a great idea.
I mean, it's just above what looks like an electrical room or something.
Not in lieu of the exit sign, still, you know.
No, in addition to.
Yeah. Like
It would be
have
right
one-
in front of that, I think the sprinkler electrical room.
Yes. We can provide that.
All right. Everybody good with it?
Yep.
Okay. Good luck.
Can we caucus? Can we caucus?
You want to caucus? All right.
Yeah.
Sure, we can call.
In the waiting room, please.
Sure.
Or pausing the recording.
Yes, pause the record on. Recording's back on, sorry. Back on the record.
Okay, we were just checking on something. Everything's good, so good luck with your building. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
right,
Once
guys.
this goes through, would the permit then be submitted, or do we have to go back in for permit approval?
So you're still using the same permit, so the commissioner has to sign off on the variance, and then that gets forwarded to you, and then you would just contact the examiner and resubmit that variance, and then as long as you have no other outstanding issues with the examiner, he would issue it out.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, have a good one.
You're
Have a
welcome.
good day.
Have a nice day. Now? Are we on the record or not?
Okay, we're on the record.
Okay.
I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted Agus, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Jay Scurria, Department of License and Inspections.
Okay, anybody testifying in this case, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Respond.
Yes.
All right. Okay, Jace, put it on the record.
This is BBS case number MI-2022-005655 for 1 Dock Street. For the record, can you please state your name?
John Miller.
Want all our names? Tom
Oh, yeah, all your names,
Stefanelli.
yeah.
Tom Stefanelli, A&S Sprinkler.
Ace Dunleavy, A&S Sprinkler.
Joe Miller, A&S Sprinkler.
Okay, all right. Whoever's gonna present the case, go ahead.
So it's on.
They were just looking for a variance to move our hose riser into the intermediate landings on this job because where they were located on the drawings is a structural issue there. It's too close to an I-beam. Would compromise the structural integrity of the building at that location. So we're looking to put them the way, right down the steps. We did have a representative from fire department out. He's okay with the location. And that's about where we're at.
Yeah, prior to us applying for the appeal, I had Captain Michael Jackson to come to the site to get the fire department's thoughts on it. And he was happy with the intermediate landing for our standpipe. He actually preferred it, but because it was new construction, he told us we had to go through this process, and that's why we're here today.
Dimes, what do you think?
Yep, no problem at all. Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Ed? Amy?
If the fire department's okay with it, I'm okay with it.
Jace, okay? All right. Good luck, guys.
So can we, Wayne, at this point, because they're kind of pretty urgent to get this going, is it safe to say that this verbal is okay to get started, or do we have to wait for some kind of official paperwork?
You would have to wait for the official paperwork, but I'll contact the Board of Building Standards to get that done, and then we can issue out the amendment for you.
Okay, is that estimated time somewhat within reason, like a week? Was it weeks or months or?
Hopefully not months, but it should be a week or two. But I would say you would have to follow up with Deborah Richardson for that.
The thing is that how many floors are you below the top floor that's built, Steph?
And we have our combo riser is up for our temporary riser right now, so we're okay on that end of it, but we the job's progressive. We want to stay up with the job and get this other riser run. We got to cut holes, so we will probably proceed with cutting the holes in the metal stair landing.
Just, I want to make sure we keep up with the project. We don't want to fall behind, so.
Okay. Jace, if we can put a rush in that, it'd be good.
I'll try and put it in as soon as
All right,
possible and send it to the
Okay.
commissioner as soon as I can. So
Okay.
I'll work on that tomorrow, if not Monday.
All right, guys.
If it gets approved, then I'll forward it to whoever's the plans examiner, which is Jace. Who would I send that to?
Who's your plan examiner, Jace?
No.
It's Jim. Just CC Matt.
Send it to Andrew?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll send it to Andrew.
See Jace. All right. Good deal.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.